let's continue on page 30. I'm going to read the Chatima of our Ma'ariv Aravim, but I just wanted to say that a couple of nights we observed our winter solstice, right? And that's the beautiful time, the shortest, darkest day of the year. And now we are on our way back to light. So just as we are increasing our light in our Hanukkah lights, we are increasing our light and increasing our hope in our time of winter. So we are now on our way back to longer days and more sunshine, being able to go out at 5 maybe and catch some sunshine. And we're going to continue with our Chatima of our Ma'ariv Aravim on page 30. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב ערבים. Our next blessing, our Ahavat Olam, is our blessing for Torah. And I was having dinner. I'm going to out them. I was having dinner with Alan and Diane the other night, and Diane mentioned that her latke recipe was passed to her by her mother and that she'd passed it on to her children. And I thought, just as we pass on our Torah, right, that's really what our Ahavat Olam is about. Torah umitzvot chukim umishpatim, these laws, this Torah that was passed down to us. Latke recipes are also Torah, and so latke recipes also contain this Jewish wisdom, right? So if anyone is using an old family recipe and continuing those traditions, you are practicing our Ahavat Olam prayer, which can be found on page 32. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha havta, Amcha havta. Torah umitzvot, chukim umishpatim, otanu limadeta, otanu limadeta. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגי יומם ולילה, נגי יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. We're going to continue now. If you have been standing, please be seated. We're going to continue now on page 36 with our Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. So as many of you may know, when we sing our Micha Mocha, sometimes when in the middle of a festival or on the Shabbat directly before a festival, we use a different melody or a melody from that festival. And some of you may remember that last week we sang our Micha Mocha to the tune of Ma'oz Tzur. And this Ma'oz Tzur melody, right, the famous one, is actually probably a German Christian chorale. Sorry to say it, but it is probably not Jewish in origin. It comes probably from a Christian chorale, Nun freut euch, liebe Christen, and there is a historical record of that. And frankly, it doesn't bother me, you know. I think it's really wonderful that we have this shared season and we even have some shared melodies and we have this freedom to claim this as our Jewish melody, just as we will hear in our sermon in a little while. There are some very Jewish origins to some Christmas songs, so stick around for our sermon in song. We continue with our Micha Mocha on page 40. Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha Nedar Ba'kodesh, Nora Tehilot Osef Ele, Nora Tehilot Osef ele, Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. We continue now for our blessing of shelter, of a sukkah of peace, Sukkat Shalom over us, with our Hashkivenu as we come to the end of 2023. May we be protected, may we be safe, may we feel held by our communities, by each other as we approach a new secular year. Hashkivenu can be found on page 42. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, ve'ha'amidenu shomrenu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukkat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukkat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 At this time we think of those who may be in need of healing, whether it's healing of body, mind, or soul. We think of, at this time in our community, Tzur, Miriam, Batchana, Vemoshe, Jim Blattner, Cantor Martin, and Nancy Feldman, and we welcome Cantor Feldman again, and we hope you're feeling much better. Bob Fonero, Michael Gaines, Stephen Gerbsman, Bill Kurian, Monica Levin, Gloria Rogan, and Agnes Rothblatt. If there are other names you are thinking of at this time, please feel free to say them silently on Zoom or to place their names in the chat for our community to pray for them. Mi sheberach avotenu mekor habracha imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. We wish them all a refuah shlema, a complete and speedy healing from everything that ails them. We continue now with our Veshamru, our blessing to keep Shabbat, which can be found on page 44. Veshamru Bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Continue now with our standing prayer. You may stand if you are able. You may stay seated since we're on Zoom, not praying as a community. So whatever is your custom, however you feel comfortable praying the prayers on the page or the prayers of your heart, we continue with our Adonai Sifatai on page 46. Adonai Svatai Tiftach, אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך ופי יגיד תהילתך. אדוני שפתי תפתח אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך ופי יגיד תהילתך. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. We take some time to continue silently with our own prayers. We will join together in our Yihiyu L'Ratzon on page 62. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, וגואלי, וגואיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, Vegoali, Vegoali. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. This evening we're going to, as I mentioned, look at a very Jewish topic, Christmas songs. So before you leave in a huff, wondering why the Cantor is singing Christmas tunes, we're going to look at some amazing melodies written by Jewish composers, Jewish songwriters, and some of the social context which led to them writing these amazing creations. So there were many Christmas hits written by Jews around this time. The first one we're going to look at is the Christmas song, Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire. It was written by Robert Wells, born Robert Levinson, in Chicago. He was born in Washington, and he was a prolific scriptwriter and lyricist for the stage and screen. The music was written by the famous Mel Torme, the Velvet Fog himself, no relation to Carl the Fog. And he was a Chicago Jew and an amazing performer who started at the age of 4 and really became one of the great crooners of his generation, and really up until the 90s was still touring. They wrote this piece on a hot July day in California. Torme recounts, "I saw a spiral pad on Wells's piano with 4 lines written in pencil. They started, chestnuts roasting, Jack Frost nipping, Yuletide carols, folks dressed up like Eskimos. Bob didn't think he was writing a song lyric. He said he thought if he could immerse himself in winter, he could cool off. 40 minutes later, that song was written. I wrote all the music and some of the lyrics." So here we have the Christmas song, Chestnuts Roasting. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe help to make the season bright. Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to fall asleep tonight. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you. Beautiful song written by 2 Jewish men, Robert Wells and Mel Torme. Our next song, Silver Bells, was written by Jay Livingston and Ray Evans. Livingston was a Pennsylvania-born Jew who changed his name from Levison, right, just like Wells. A lot of Levies, Levinsons. It didn't go so well with the entertainment industry of the time. Livingston was a prolific composer who partnered with Evans throughout his career. Evans was from Salamanca, New York, and together they wrote over 700 songs, probably the most famous of which is Silver Bells, written in 1951. There's a lot of conflicting reports about whether this was written about the Salvation Army bells on the streets of New York, or just about a bell that sat on Ray Evans' desk when he shared an office with Livingston. But there is one indisputable fact, and that was that it was the guidance of a firm Jewish woman who helped make this song a hit. Evans initially wanted to call the song Tinkle Bells, and his wife replied, "Are you out of your mind? Do you know what the word tinkle is?" And so Silver Bells definitely sounds much more magical than tinkle. So thank you to Evans's wife for giving him that stern advice. City sidewalks, busy sidewalks, dressed in holiday style. In the air there's a feeling of Christmas. Children laughing, people passing, meeting smile after smile, and on every street corner you hear silver bells, it's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling, hear them ring. Soon it will be Christmas Day. Strings of street lights, even stoplights, blink a bright red and green as the shoppers run home with their treasures. Hear the snow crunch, see the kids bunch, this is Santa's big scene. And above all the bustle you hear silver bells, it's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling, hear them ring. Soon it will be Christmas Day. Beautiful song, Silver Bells. Thank God it wasn't Tinkle Bells. Thank you again to Evan's wife for changing that lyric. Our next composer, Jules Stein, was born in London to Russian immigrant parents. He moved to Chicago at the age of 8, becoming a child prodigy and performing with the Chicago Symphony, the Detroit Symphony before the age of 10. He is best remembered as a Broadway composer. He wrote the musicals Gypsy, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, and the recently revived Funny Girl. His writing partner was lyricist Sami Khan. This is not the right time, but Sami Khan also wrote the English lyrics famously to Bei mir bist du schön, which of course was a huge hit. That's a whole other sermon and a very interesting story. But tonight we're going to look at Stein and Kahn's famous song, Let It Snow. And for those who thought it's too much Christmas, this song is just about snow. So this one is a little more Hanukkah appropriate, maybe not California appropriate, but let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. It doesn't show signs of stopping, and I bought some corn for popping. The lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. When we finally kiss goodnight, how I'll hate going out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. Oh, the fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbying. But as long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Just gonna make sure all is well in the chat. Oh, okay. There we go. I'm glad everyone's singing along, just making sure that everyone can hear and people weren't saying, we can't hear. Anyway, it's great to share these songs, and I hope you are singing along, because these are all written by Jews. Our next piece is even more of a Jewish story, and this I didn't know at all, so it's fascinating. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was actually originally a coloring book, which was given away to children by the retailer Montgomery Ward. It was conceived by a Jewish copywriter, Robert May, who drew on memories of his own painfully shy childhood while creating his Rudolph story. After this initial production and having been rejected by many publishers, he found, as he put it, a little guy with a big nose, Harry Elbaum, head of Maxton Publishers, who said he knew what it was like for Rudolph and was willing to take a chance on printing. So this connection between two ostracized Jews, really led to this success of Rudolph initially. The next printing was a huge success, and Rudolph grew in stature. In 1948, again, just with Mishpocha, May persuaded his brother-in-law, Johnny Marks, to write a song. Marks, who was also a New York Jew, wrote many Christmas hits of the time, including Silver and Gold and Holly Jolly Christmas. The rest is history, and after being recorded in 1949, it became the second most successful Christmas song of all time.
One more thing to add to this. Rudolph's older sister lives here at the San Francisco Towers. Robert May's daughter lives here.
That's so incredible. Wow, I had no idea. Thank you so much for sharing, Laura.
Yeah.
Thank you. So let's continue with Rudolph. Sorry, just looking for my pick. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came and said, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then how the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history. You'll go down in history. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. A very Jewish story, who knew? So our final piece that I'm going to share is, of course, by the singular Jewish voice in American composers, really one of the greats of the American songbook, Irving Berlin. Berlin was born in the Russian Empire and emigrated at the age of 5. His father, who was a cantor by training, was unable to find work and actually worked as a kosher butcher, at a kosher butcher before dying when Berlin was 13. Berlin left home at 14 to join a group of singing immigrant boys who worked in salons and parlors. After teaching himself to play the piano, he eventually sold his first songs and had his first big hit with Alexander's Ragtime Band in 1911. We know many of his jaunty hits: Always, Blue Skies, Putting on the Ritz, God Bless America. He wrote White Christmas in 1939, apparently also while in sunny California trying to cool down, so there's a pattern there. And he said to his secretary, apparently, I want you to take down a song I wrote over the weekend. Not only is it the best song I wrote, it's the best song anybody ever wrote. I don't know about that. I don't know how modest Berlin was, but he didn't really have a reason to be modest. And it's certainly a beautiful and incredibly commercially successful Christmas song of the era. This is White Christmas by Irving Berlin. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear the sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear the sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your dreams be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white. So, those are our Christmas songs by Jews. You might be asking, great, what does this have to do with Hanukkah? So, I'm going to try and tie everything together for you. Ultimately, both our modern Hanukkah tradition and the great tradition of Jewish songwriters are a product of American Jewish migration. Hanukkah's place as a minor holiday in the Jewish liturgical calendar was pretty normal up until the 20th century. So, Rabbi Gustav Gotthal actually remarked in 1884, the customary candles disappear more and more from Jewish homes. This is, of course, in a contrast to today, where it's really a major Jewish holiday. Probably after Shabbat and Yom Kippur, it's really observed a lot by American families. So what made Hanukkah special and caused it to rise to prominence was a direct reaction to Christmas, to wanting to preserve traditions while also emphasizing the newfound economic opportunities and possibilities which were only realized in the New World. Rabbi Menachem Creditor writes, parents saw that giving gifts was a way of creating joy around the time of Hanukkah. Creditor continues, I think it wasn't to be like Christmas. It was so that Jewish children would have joy on Hanukkah. I know this sounds like a narrow difference, but the distinguishing factor is we didn't want to do Christmas. We wanted to have joy. Similarly, the Jewish place in the American Christmas song tradition is ultimately also a story of immigration. Even today, when anti-Semitic accusations about Jews in entertainment are pervasive, we need to understand the root of the tradition. Jews of this time were still excluded from prestigious law firms and hospitals. Rabbi J. Michelson writes, for centuries in Europe and America, Jews were shut out of most avenues to wealth. Until the 1800s, we were forbidden from owning land in most of Europe and barred from most guilds, industries, and professions. As a result, European Jews seeking upward mobility turned to urban cosmopolitan occupations like trade, the lending of money, and emerging professions like law. Many also turned to theatrical entertainment, which was often regarded as too indecent or for men too effeminate for respectable Christians. This continued in the United States. Performers like Mel Torme were the exception, but most performers were not Jewish because they simply couldn't get the opportunities. Songwriting was a way to capitalize on the entertainment industry and gain success and fame, even while Jews were not able to appear in films or gain success in secular entertainment on screen themselves. Ultimately, the success of composers like Berlin, Kahn, and all the amazing composers that I've mentioned this evening are examples of trying to build a better life in a new land. Jews were able to craft their own story and paths to success based on one of the only avenues that was available to them in the entertainment industry through songwriting. Just as Hanukkah became a festival of light and joy to counter the Christmas narrative, so too did these amazing Jewish artists create light and hope for the Jewish future with their music, even if it happened to be about Christmas. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Urim Sameach. So, with that, with this joy of Hanukkah in our hearts, does anyone have any smachot to share? Any happy occasions from this week? Do I want to show everyone? Just embarrass me more, Mom. So my mother got me this talit. It's beautiful. Thank you so much, Mom. Shehechianu for that. It's a wonderful talit. Thank you.
I was thinking it was beautiful.
I appreciate it. Any other smachot?
I have something.
Sure, please.
This is Gloria. I had successful total shoulder replacement of my right shoulder, and my brother and his beautiful wife are making me heal in a healing place and taking care of me and my two lovely Cocker Spaniels.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Gloria. Yes, we chatted, and it's great to see you this evening. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Here at the San Francisco Towers, we got to celebrate Hanukkah with many songs that Cantor Toby led us in. So thank you for coming to bring the joy to Shereth Israel. Everybody loved it.
So glad to hear it. It was such a joy to be there. Thanks for having me.
Huge turnout.
Anyone else? I can't see everyone, so unmute if yes. Otherwise, we will continue with our Shehechianu. Chabad has Chanukias. Yes, that's always nice to see Chanukias everywhere. Let's continue with our Shehechianu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen. Keep putting my guitar picks down and then I can't find them. Here is one. Let's continue on page 282 if you are following along in your flipbook online with our Aleinu, page 282. Please rise if you would like to, or stay seated as we are at home. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורל עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. We continue now and think of those who we may have lost in seasons past or recently. At this time, for Shloshim, we remember Carol Brones, Blanche Kahn, Dr. Susan Shaven, and Rosalind Sheff. If anyone is in a period of Shiva or Shloshim, please share a name in the chat and feel free to rise. If anyone is in the first year of mourning, please share a name and rise.
Ruth Resnikoff.
Thank you.
Diana Shore and Mali Klepper.
Thank you. We remember in the first year of mourning our Rabbi Emeritus, Rabbi Marty Wiener. The perpetual memorials in our community are Shoshana, Hannah, Asher, and Joseph Sattler. The yard sites in our community are Esther Birnbaum, Ted Blockley, James Cohen, Charles Dubbs, Joseph Faust, Gilda Fessel, Morris Fierberg, Elsie Gelman Feldman, Gerald Hausman, Louis Hurwitz, Renee Ketchum, Julio Koppel, Arnett LeBay, Pearl Levitt, Gomez, Patricia Mednick, Rose Mervis, Morton Nachman, Renee Plevin, Robert Rantz, Art Rosenbaum, Wolf Sattler, Chaim Sefer, Karen Spivak, Anna Warshawski, Leah Wine, Marion Wine, Herman Winters, and Ruth Euro. If you are thinking of any other loved ones with a yacht site, or if this season reminds you of them, please rise and share a name either in the chat or out loud. We continue now with the Mourner's Kaddish. Please rise, as is your custom, and continue on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, Belma divrach Yerute v'yamlich malchute, B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, B'agala uv'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam ulalmei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitale v'yithalal, shmei dekudsha brichu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, Da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru Amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. Please be seated if you were risen. That concludes our Hanukkah / secular holiday, Shabbat. Any announcements? Rabbi Graf will be leading us on Torah study tomorrow. She's very excited to see you all. Anyone have any other announcements? I can't think of any. We will be back in the sanctuary next week. Very excited for that. Anyone have anything they'd like to share? Last
It
thoughts?
thumbs up to the Kampow Jewish comedy tonight, being held at
Yes.
the temple. Very nice,
bel-
full house.
Full house. I believe it's sold out, but you can still buy Zoom tickets if you would like to see that. And that was part of the reason also that we are on Zoom. That it was a very full house, and we have some staff who are observing Christmas this weekend. So it's great to be with you here all on Zoom. I wanted to see Cantor Feldman, if you are coming through okay. We would love you to lead us in Kiddush. I've got a cup for you if you don't have a cup ready, but are you could we see if Cantor Feldman's available? There he is, the man himself. Do you want to lead us in Kiddush, Cantor? We're not sure. He's been a little under the weather, so we can't hear you. If you want to unmute.
He's wearing a robe too.
He's in a robe. He's got the uniform on. Okay, well, he will be joining us in spirit. Zach, unless you can see if Cantor Feldman's getting ready, that's great. You can spotlight him. Otherwise, I will.
I think he's chanting it already.
But
Oh,
Cantor,
okay.
you're on mute.
We can't. You got to unmute. You got to unmute, Cantor. Cantor Feldman, you got to unmute. Okay. Sorry, we can't hear you, Cantor. You got to unmute the system.
I cannot manually unmute someone, although I have asked him to unmute, and hopefully he sees it.
Okay. Well.
Unmute.
Oh, there we go. All right. Let's start. Yeah. He needs to unmute, please. Can you help him out?
Unmute, Nancy, unmute.
You got to push the button for unmute. The little microphone down the bottom.
There should also be a prompt
Shouting
on
doesn't
screen.
help. I think
Okay. There's a little microphone in the bottom corner. Nancy, can you see that?
There should also be a prompt on screen since I have sent an ask to unmute request, so it should pop up, and you should be able to hit yes to
We
that.
couldn't hear.
to
I
unmute.
don't want to make you do it again. Do you want to try and unmute? There's a little button on the corner, down the corner. Okay. That's all right. We're gonna let's try get it. Sorry, we couldn't hear you, Cantor. It was I'm sure it was wonderful, but do you want to try and do it again? There's a button you got to hit in the corner of the screen. All right. We're gonna continue. That's all right. We're gonna sing it together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'vratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת, מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך, באהבה וברצון, הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Just a little bit. I didn't want to open a new bottle. That bottle has been in the fridge for some time, so it's still wine, but it's not the most drinkable. So, would anyone, Ruth, do we have a challah to showcase this evening? Or anyone else have a challah to showcase that we can spotlight? There we go. Can we get there? Oh, it's beautiful. Do you want to say our motzi for us? What do we have here?
If you're talking to me.
Yes.
There's been something going around the internet that Valerie sent me. That's this guy who does a deli menorah with half pastry. So my take on it was to do a turkey one with challah. So there's turkey and cranberry sauce in my menorah. And there are 6 candles.
Amazing. And would you like to say our bracha for us?
Sure. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hamotzi lachem min haaretz. Te'avon.
Amen. Yummy, yummy challah. I wish
Chag
we could.
Sameach.
That's the worst part of leading on Zoom, that we do not get to experience Ruth's challah, unfortunately.
Maybe next week.
I'm sure everyone feel free to stay on for a few minutes to schmooze and say hi. I'm sure Zach will keep the room open for a little while. So if you haven't seen your friends, particularly those who've been at home, feel free to stick around for a minute. We're going to close our service with, of course, Ma'oz Tzur on page
A little shtickle now.
2. What page are we on? Oh dear, that's the wrong edition. Let me just pull up Ma'oz Tzur. One sec. Apologies, everyone. It is on page 365. There we go. The wonders of technology, and there are too many editions of Ma'oz Tzur. Here we go. Ma'oz Tzur Yeshuati Lecha Na'el Shabeach Tikon Betefilati Besham Toda Nezabeach Le'et Achin Matbeach Mitzad Hamnabeach Az Egmor Bashir Mizmor Chanukat HaMizbeach Az Egmor Bashir Mizmor Chanukat HaMizbeach. Rock of Ages, Rock of Ages, let our song praise your saving power. You amidst the raging foes were our sheltering tower. Furious they assailed us, but your arm availed us. And your word broke their sword when our own strength failed us. And your word broke their sword when our own strength failed us. Shabbat Shalom, Chag Chanukah Sameach. Yes, it was Christmaka. For those observing with family members or friends this weekend, have a Merry Christmas. I will be sitting at home with some Chinese food. If that is your custom, I wish you greasy, delicious Chinese food for the weekend.
I can do this. Hold on.
Thank you,
Shabbat
Cantor.
Shalom.
Wonderful.
Shabbat
Shabbat
Shalom.
Shalom. Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Shabbat Shalom.